7, part 4 of the audio PowerPoint. We have quite a ways to go. Xylonin or Hylinin from Mesoamerica, from Veracruz, Mexico. Mesoamerica is Central America, a little bit of South America. It's before we really call it South America and Central. Head is human-like, but we have ornamental bands and ears of corn up here on top of her head, sun rays here, collar of jade, which is important for crop fertility. Another piece from Mesoamerica, the Tlaloc vessels, is Aztec, traditionally shown as circular eyes, twisted serpent nose, and so on. And this one is to help a rain deity to help crops flourish. So you think about the unpredictability of the weather cycle, which is similar to California. It's not hugely different, but we're, humans are vulnerable and needing crops to grow, and even more so, 2 and 3 and 4,000 years ago. So as a comparison, I'm going to skip over this but you can see how the figures here are very stylized, the facial features and so on, they're abstracted, stylized, and then we get more refined and realistic with the Western culture. So pantheism, that's a divine spirit that pervades all things in the universe. So Hinduism is our key pantheistic religion here. It's not polytheistic. It seems like there are many gods. I mean, in a way, there kind of are, but there kind of aren't. So polytheism, like the Greco-Roman Greek mythology, has Zeus and Hera and Poseidon and Achilles and all these different people, different gods rather, in human form. That's many gods with different tasks. Pardon my rooster. Pantheism is different manifestations or avatars, right here, of Brahma. So Brahman is the unbounded, but Brahma is the main god. We don't see him. If you go back to what I said in that first video and what's in the book, that Brahma is never depicted, but we have manifestations of Brahma through Shiva and other gods. So Brahma is one pure being, pure intelligence, pure delight, and is unknowable, right, in this world for Hinduism. Now remember, Hinduism and Judaism and Zoroastrianism are the three oldest extant religions, meaning continuous. People practiced them thousands of years ago, and they practice them now. Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam came much later, okay? Thousands of years later. Okay, so Shiva is an avatar, good and evil, male and female, and it's about unity, which all opposites meet, and is destroyer of life who also creates it. Terrible and at the same time out. So that's confusing to the Western mind, yeah? So this is from India, and we're thinking about how reincarnation plays into Hinduism and how things are renewed, they die and they are reborn. So you have to think about that as a basic pervasive belief. There's a lot of imagery there. This is the Lord of the Dance. This is a beautiful piece at the Norton Simon Museum in Pasadena, California. So his body is dancing, he's always moving, and things are changing all the time. His multiple arms tell of power. He is stepping on ignorance down here, this child, this infant-like shape down here. And his divine wisdom is shown in his third eye. Okay, mudra is a sign of protection. So that perhaps would be this hand here. The mudra is a hand gesture, okay? So the second right arm is coiled by a snake, symbolizing regeneration. So animals mean different things in different cultures, and you have to think about that. Snakes have a different meaning in Chinese culture, and snakes, of course, in Western culture, we think of in Christianity, the Adam and Eve story, where the serpent came down and tempted them with the apples. Buddhism comes later, and Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, was born in India and was Hindu by birth, similar to how Jesus is Jewish, but invents Christianity. He invents Buddhism. So there's some similarities to Hinduism. Reincarnation is one, but there are different feelings about the hierarchy of humanity. So enlightenment is possible for any human in this lifetime, and you don't have to work your way up the whole hierarchical scale. Or that's the wrong word, I should say. The whole steps in order to get to different levels of humanity in order to reach enlightenment, like you might with Hinduism. Hinduism never really tells you you're ever going to get there. Buddhism is trying to get you to think about ending your suffering. So hundreds of years after his death, he was never represented as human, but this is late 5th, 6th centuries. So this is 1,000 years on after he was born. And this shows him smooth and perfected. It shows the top knot. That's a sign of enlightenment. So sorry about the roosters. Perfect eyebrows. Everything is calm and perfect. Buddha was usually shown as a pair of footsteps and a stupa, which we're going to get into here. This was a symbol of leaving the earthly wisdom. So mounds and domes have a similar meaning throughout a lot of cultures, but in particular, this had to do with a sign of his death and attainment of nirvana. So it was a mound tomb, and eventually was transformed into a monument. So this is a very old piece, not long after his death, the 3rd century BCE. So this is quite a long time ago. These are the Torana gates, and this little thing up here is called a chhatra. So the Toranas have their heraldic gates. You walk through them. These are still here. It's really amazing to think how old this piece is. You can see some details on here. There's like little elephants. There's all kinds of stories of his life throughout here. And then the chhatras up top, that's uniting the world with paradise above. So a lot of things in Buddhism and Hinduism too is where the energy of the earth and heaven, or how you want to say, paradise and earthly pleasures come together, and there's ways to sort of channel that and bring that together. So the stupa changes into pagodas and some other things. Sorry, and I don't know why this is after. Okay, so this early sculpture get kind of variations of Hindu spirits. Again, you see that with early Christianity too. You see some of the gods from the Greco-Roman tradition. Jesus and other people were depicted with that same symbolism because it hadn't really developed the style yet. Oh, and his earlobes are long here because he was once a prince and wore heavy earrings. We kind of covered this over. The abstract foliage, we skipped that. Represents the tree of enlightenment. You can kind of see that there. He was under a tree when he became enlightened. It's called the Bodhi tree. All right.